Hello everyone and welcome to my video series on everything you need to know about IB HLAA Math or SL if you're SL. So we're gonna start off with introduction to series and sequences. Okay, so what is a series and sequence? Okay, I have two series over here that you can look at. First off, we have 1, 3, 6, 10, 28. This is actually what we call a finite series. And for the second one, we can see that this is an infinite series because it goes on infinitely. Alright, so a series is kind of just like a sequence of numbers. Alright, so let's go through some of the key terms that we need to know. First off, Tn. Tn is your nth term. Okay, so all these numbers over here are considered terms. So over here, 1 is your first term, 3 will be your second term, 6 will be your third term, and so on and so forth. Sn will just be your sum of the first n terms. Okay, so let's say the sum of my first term will just be my first term, 1. The sum of my first two terms will just be 1 plus 3. This is S2. 1 plus 3. Okay, your sum of the first three terms will just be 1 plus 3 plus 6, which we can see that S3 is 10. Okay, so the last thing we need to know is S infinity, or the sum to infinity. So this only applies to infinite series. Alright, but we'll be covering this more in depth in geometric progressions. Okay, now let's look at some of the general formula. Okay, so the first thing you need to know is T1 equals to S1. So as we saw earlier, the first term, T1, is just equals to the sum of the first n terms, because the sum of the first term is just the first term. Alright, the next thing is Tn equals to Sn minus Sn minus 1. So what we can see here, okay, let's say we want T4 over here. T4 is just S4 minus S3. Can you see that? Okay, and this applies generally to all of Tn. Any term, any of the n terms over here will fulfill this formula. Okay, with this in mind, let's solve a question. Given that Sn equals to n minus 2 square, find Tn. So we'll use this formula over here. Okay, this is an important question because this kind of comes out quite often in IB. Okay, we first know that Sn equals to n minus 2 square. So now let's find what Sn minus 1 is. Sn minus 1 is just substituting n minus 1 into Sn. So we'll get n minus 1 minus 2 squared, which is just n minus 3 squared. Alright, so let's find Tn. We can see that Tn is just Sn, which is n minus 2 squared, minus Sn minus 1, which is n minus 3 squared. What does this get us? If we do our expansion, this becomes n squared minus 4n plus 4 minus n squared minus 6n plus 9. And then this is equals to 2n minus 5. Okay, hopefully this video gave you a good introduction to series and sequences. And in our next video, we'll be covering arithmetic and geometric progressions.